Day 4 in our series, Can We Talk Date Night? Do you have regularly scheduled date nights? Well, for me, the last date night I was on was at an event for one of my husband's clients. You get the picture. Rhona Berens, PhD and parent advocate, says date nights are important, but throw out the pressure.
So date night. Date night, if you think about it, is such a cultural catchphrase, right? We hear if you care about your relationship, you're going to book date nights. How do we determine the difference, for example, between taking self-care, time for self-care, and being selfish? Like what's the tipping point for us around that? Same with our relationships. What is not enough time devoted to our relationship, but what would be too much? What do we think would take away from our parenting? And I think exploring those questions, because they really are such individual questions, exploring them with our spouses even better. But even if our spouse doesn't want to talk about it, fine. We can do a lot of this stuff just by ourselves. Like, okay, what is important to me? If I say I want more time with my spouse, but weekly date nights just feels excessive to me, what wouldn't? What would feel like something that I'm willing to do where I wouldn't feel immense guilt? Because very often that's what gets triggered, right? Guilt that we're not with our kids, guilt that we're not doing something else that's on our plate that we are responsible for. So what is doable? What is possible? Very often, I think, especially around these kinds of issues, which are so important to us, and they're so fundamental to our identities as parents, we really look at I'm not willing. We look at the negative. I won't do that. I don't want to do that. I'm unwilling to sacrifice this. That seems wrong. If we were to flip it over, just sort of pivot and look at, well, what do I want? What am I willing to do? What feels worthwhile? What's important to me? What's most important to me? And what's the first baby step that I can take to try and give my relationship some of that energy and attention that I miss? Let's go with that. Let's not go with, I really should spend more time with my husband. That doesn't work really well. The shoulds, not a very good, inspiring thing, because should will often get us to take action. It doesn't get us to sustain action because it's a punishing kind of way in which we talk to ourselves. So instead, if we look at, what do I really want? What's really important to me? If we as a couple can have that conversation, what do you want? What do you think would help us? Not you, not me, us. Because as soon as we come together in relationship, we've created something bigger than the two of us. So very often people not only think that they have to do regular date nights, they also think it has to be a big extravaganza, right? We have to get gussied up, we have to go out for hours, and then we have to have wild, amazing sex when we get home because the kids will sleep through it all and it'll all be fantastic, right? Right? Isn't that the sort of vision?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's the vision.
The pressure on date night.
And the pressure. That's a great point. So here's the thing. There are no have-tos. Date night can be, hopefully if your kids go to sleep early enough that there's still a little time for you guys to hang out, you can light a candle at your dining room table and open a bottle of wine if you're drinkers. You can, if you have babysitting care, either family or you're able to afford someone to babysit, you can ask someone to sit for half an hour and take a walk in your neighborhood together. Here's the other thing, and it's why I'm constantly going to this 10% or 5%, because I think we get caught up on the big dream. And look, I'm a life coach. I'm all about the big dream and pursuing our big dreams. It's not that I don't want to honor that, but I get what it's like as a parent. The big dreams start to haunt us after a while because they feel so inaccessible to us. So I'm all about, what can we do? You know what? You can't find time to sit at the dining room table. You can't go take a walk. Great. Sit looking at each other, hold hands, and just 60 seconds. Look into each other's eyes for 60 seconds. Actually, some couples just will giggle through that. So it won't be, and that might be fun. If you've got a lot of humor in your relationship, great, giggle through 60 seconds.
And so I hope that you can giggle for at least 60 seconds. And I hope that this series, Can We Talk, will help start a conversation with your spouse or partner.